Well, hello. I am J. El Camino. Why El Camino? Because it's the only Spanish I know. So today we're going to talk about something that confuses almost every man at some point in his life. It's confused me for sure. And once you see it clearly, you can't really unsee it. And the title of this is called Women Are the Policemen of Communication. Why policemen? Why not police person or police women? Because I've said women once already, I don't want to repeat it. And it's also my YouTube video, so there you go. So you're talking to a woman, everything feels good, the conversation flows naturally, she's responsive, engaged, even enthusiastic, there's momentum, feels like something's building, and then something changes, replies get slower, messages get shorter, tones shift, sometimes she just disappears without any warning whatsoever, and you're left staring at the phone thinking, what did I do wrong? But here's the reality. You didn't necessarily do anything dramatic, you just ran into a pattern, and most men don't understand that pattern. So women are the policemen of communication. They control access, they control timing, they control energy, and they often do it quietly without even announcing that they're doing it. Now, before anyone jumps in with not all women, let's just address this right away. Of course, not all women, but through a combination of natural tendencies, social conditioning, and real-world incentives, enough women operate this way that it creates a pattern. And if you ignore patterns, you stay confused. If you recognize patterns, things start to make a lot more sense. So this is not theory, it's just observation in my own life and what I've seen over and over again when things are going well. Communication's easy, it flows, there's a rhythm to it, you don't have to think too much about it. But when something shifts, even slightly, communication is the first place you see it. So it doesn't come with a speech. It doesn't come with a warning. It just shows up as a change in behavior. And that's because communication isn't just talking, it's access. Who gets your attention? Who gets your time? Who gets your energy? And women tend to regulate that more actively than men do. Not always consciously, but consistently. So you even see this in larger life patterns. A significant percentage of divorces, about 75%, are initiated by women. And think about what that means at a deeper level. Like when something's no longer working, when it's no longer aligned, when it no longer serves them, they're often the ones to make the decision to end it. And when they end it, they don't just end the relationship, they often end the communication that goes with it. And the same pattern shows up in smaller everyday interactions. It shows up in dating, it shows up in texting, it shows up how quickly someone can move from highly engaged to distant. Now, part of the reason for this goes back to how men and women have historically navigated the world. For most of history, relationships mattered deeply to women in a very practical sense. The right partner could mean stability, security, a better life. The wrong partner could mean struggle, uncertainty, and limitation. So women developed a strong ability to evaluate relationships, to read signals, to pick up on subtle shifts, and to make decisions based on how things were trending. There's also a timing element. Different pressures exist for men and women, and those pressures can lead to faster decisions when something doesn't feel right, or something doesn't seem to be progressing in a way that aligns with what they want. So if it feels off, even slightly, you'll often see quicker adjustments, not always emotional, but often very practical. Now, men and women have always had very different roles and different areas of emphasis. Men historically were builders, producers, problem solvers. They moved outward into the world, took risks, and created outcomes. Women, on the other hand, were often in the position of evaluating, selecting, and managing relationships and social dynamics. It's not better or worse, it's just different. And those differences show up very clearly in communication. So for women, communication is not just about exchanging information, it's about reading tone, understanding subtext, sensing energy, and adjusting in real time. So you can see this in something as simple as texting. Watch how a woman can text, how quickly. Watch how fluid it is. Watch how easily she can move between conversations, pick up on tone, and adjust her responses. Very often you observe a woman text, her thumbs are just a blur. So now compare this to most men, often slower, more literal, more focused on what to say rather than how it's being received. So this gap does matter because the person who's more fluent in communication has more control over the interaction. And control doesn't mean manipulation, it means influence. It means the ability to adjust, to pull back, to lean in, create distance, or create connection. So here's where it becomes very clear. When a woman is interested, communication is easy, replies are quick, there's energy, there's engagement, there's curiosity. When the interest drops even slightly, the first thing it changes is communication. Replies take longer, messages get shorter, the energy drops, the effort drops. She doesn't announce it. She doesn't say, hey, my interest just went from an 8 to a 5. She just changes how she communicates, and most men miss it. They keep operating as if nothing's changed. They try and fix it by doing more texting, more explaining, more effort. But the signal was already there. So that's why confusion is so important. If you feel confused about where you stand, that confusion is not random. It's not bad luck. It's not something to solve with more words. It's information. So as Doc Love said, if you're confused, she's not interested enough. And when interest is there, communication is clear, it's convenient, and it's consistent. Another key difference in how men and women handle conflict or discomfort. Men tend to confront. They want to talk it out, address it, solve it directly. Women often take a different approach. Because of confronting, they withdraw. Instead of confronting, they withdraw. They reduce communication, they change tone, they create distance. There's no big moment, no dramatic ending, just a gradual shift. And then one day it's gone. So that can feel very cold from the outside, especially to men who expect a conversation or explanation. But from the inside, it often feels like a natural adjustment based on how they're feeling. Remember, women are more in tune with their feelings in general, and so they tend to decide things based on how they're feeling about things. So there's also the factor of perceived options. Many women, even average or below in appearance, will still receive attention from multiple directions, from a menagerie of men. Men their own age, much older guys trying their luck, younger guys who can't get attention from girls their own age who are chasing older guys with money, or just, random men, the neighbor, the postman, it doesn't really matter. And when you have options as a woman, you're naturally more willing to walk away from something that doesn't quite feel right, okay? So that doesn't mean that those options are always better, it just means they exist. And the existence of options changes behavior, right? It creates a willingness to disengage faster, to reset, to look elsewhere. And this leads to one of the biggest paradoxes that confuses men. Women are often more emotionally aware, more tuned into connection, more focused on relationships, and yet at the same time, they can be very decisive, even cold, when it comes to cutting off somebody or something that no longer serves them. So warmth and attachment can exist in the same person. And if you don't understand that, it will feel consistent. But it's not inconsistent, it's responsive. So what does that mean to you? It means you stop chasing communication, start reading it. You stop asking, why isn't she texting me back? Instead, you say, what is her behavior telling me? Because it is telling you something. If communication is easy, consistent, reciprocal, you're in a good place. If it's uneven, delayed, or fading, you already have your answer. So you don't force clarity. You don't need to chase explanations. You just need to be a good observer. And again, as it's been said many times by many people, you judge a woman by her actions, not what she says. That tells the true story. So there are exceptions, of course. There always are exceptions. But there is value also in being honest about patterns, about seeing things as they are head on, without pretending, without softening, without wishing it were different. Because once you see it clearly, you stop being confused. Women are the policemen of communication. They regulate access, they regulate energy, they regulate interaction. And once you understand that, you stop guessing. You start seeing exactly where you stand. And if you ever sat there staring at your phone, wondering what happened, what changed, you just didn't recognize the signal. And now you do.